You could tell it was almost like an old Western shootout.
But Sheriff Terry Johnson says he lived a very different life at times. Shortly after midnight, April 8th, over 30 shots rang out. Police discovered 2 bodies, one 18-year-old Alonzo Lara in critical condition.
Barely alive, shot in the head, back of the head twice, with his hands tied behind his back, his feet tied.
Lara later died at an area hospital. Meanwhile, in the back bedroom, Barney Harris lying dead on the bed with a bulletproof vest on, who is believed to have had his target set on Lara, a drug runner for the cartel. Harris's brother-in-law, Stephen Stewart, was also part of the murder and robbery at what is being referred to as a stash house.
What we think happened is that Barney Dale Harris arrived earlier, went into the place and sat and waited for one of our victims.
The department believes Harris and Stewart were looking for drugs and money inside the home, police finding a kilo of cocaine. The details emerging as the Union Academy mourns the loss of Harris.
I mean, you have the cartel, these burglars coming in, but whenever you take in the character of an individual, I mean, Harris was a teacher, a role model, a coach, so what does that speak to the character? I guess the people who truly do live double lives.
Let me say this. Many times, you don't really know a person, and this is probably one of those examples.
On Sunday, Stewart was arrested in Wadesboro on first-degree murder and burglary charges.
And one of the statements made by Mr. Stewart was, "Man, I thought y'all were the cartel." He knew who they were ripping off.
Sheriff Johnson adding he believes the cartel will retaliate. Just when and to who is the bigger question.
And I can tell you right now, my 50-year experience in law enforcement and dealing with things such as this, cartel ain't going to forget this. There'll be, in my opinion, another death related to this somewhere.
The news in you, north, east, west, south, unite from every alley and Cali intersection and back street. In North Carolina, we have a 40-year-old school teacher who was killed at a Mexican cartel stash house. He was 40 years old. His name was Barney Harris. He taught Spanish, and he also was the head coach of the varsity basketball team and the track team. Him and his brother-in-law went to this known stash house. How they got the information that it was a stash house is beyond me. But they went to a Mexican drug cartel stash house and laid low to rob it. And the school teacher ended up deceased. He ended up being shot and killed. He was with his brother-in-law. His brother-in-law was a part of his elaborate scheme that failed. Didn't make sense. Even in the process of that, a young Mexican kid was shot twice in the back of the head and killed. In the report, it doesn't say whether they did it or not. If they came to rob the stash house, as it looks of now, they had to be the ones who took this young man's life. And in turn, the school teacher lost his life. Those are the only 3 suspects in this whole fiasco. But it definitely has to be somebody else somewhere involved in it. Because who killed the school teacher? The Mexican young man that got shot twice in the back of the head, he was tied up. He was tied up and shot twice in the back of his head. I'm pretty sure he might not have been the one. People, the thing I'm trying to get to is the moral of the story. The moral of the story is this. We have to be careful what we do, because what we do can affect others, like your family members, your kids. And this school teacher has a wife, kids. They were on the news. And we know cartels, they're serious about their dope money. So with that being said, you could make it bad for the rest of your family. I just pray that nothing happens to the rest of your family because of your stupidity. But that's why we always have to think, family. Think about other people. Think about if what you do gonna have an effect on somebody else, like your children, like your wife. You have to always consider that when you're out doing dumb shit. Just like this 40-year-old man, this 40-year-old school teacher. It didn't make sense. I understand people want I need to hurry up and get it. I'm trying to come up. But in your come up, you got to wonder who is going to be affected by your come up. The young Mexican kid lost his life. He's affected by your come up. You lost your life. You're definitely affected by it. Your brother-in-law is arrested on murder charges and burglary. So he could probably lose his life too to time. If not, you never know. Those cartels have a long arm of the law, just like the law. That's 3 people right there. Then you have family, and you're dead and gone, and you're leaving them to fend for the mess that you caused, which could cause them a hell of a lot more pain and grief. And that's why we have to think while we're out here, family. We got to think about others. You have to think about others. That's going to stop you from doing the dumb shit. When you think about your family, when you think about your wife, when you think about your kids, it's going to make you say, well, damn, if I do some dumb shit, what if it comes back and gets them? It should make most people think about it before they do dumb shit. But yeah, family, that didn't make no sense. And it just doesn't make sense. And I always try to talk about that to tell people, don't always think about you. Think about who else can be affected by the decision that you make. And if we live by that moral and principle, we'll 9 out of 10 times not do some dumb shit. So that's what we have to do. Keep our thinking caps on and be considerate to others, family members, anybody, people in the street. Consider other people and how they will be affected by the decision that you make. And with that, I'm going to say, this is the news in you, north, east, west, south, unite from every alley in Cali, intersection in Backstreet. Subscribe to the channel and hit the thumbs up on your way out the door.